like detective games, detective books, detective movies, and detective stuff? I sure do. And if you answered yes to any of those needlessly redundant questions, then I've got something for you. Shadows of Doubt, a detective simulator, is a procedurally generated sandbox game that's all about being a detective, solving crimes, doing crimes, and escaping the ever-growing clutches of poverty. It takes place in an alternate reality in the 1980s, but like a sci-fi, noir, retro future 1980s. Crime and corruption run rampant, and the world is controlled by corporations. No police, just enforcers that work for the corporations. There are no cell phones or internet, but you can download various kinds of software into your brainstem to make you a better detective. Your goal is to get enough social credit and the money to retire far away from the corrupt city. The soundtrack and the advertisements being played over the loudspeakers gives me some serious Blade Runner vibes. Shadows of Doubt is good. Really good. I've been having a ton of fun with it. It does have some problems, but the game is still in early access, so any issues I list will probably get fixed in a later patch. And I'm not just talking about a few glitches I've come across, but also some issues I have with a couple gameplay elements. But it's still very much worth the $20 you'll drop on this game. Not sure if an early access game is worth that much money? Well, it is, and here's why. I've briefly talked about the setting, and to be honest, there isn't much more to it than that. The story is pretty simple here. Corporations rule everything, and you want to get enough social credit to retire and get away from the city. Most people never do. That's all there is to it, really. But what the game lacks in story, it makes up for in atmosphere and gameplay. Although the game is completely procedurally generated, it still oozes personality. Every NPC in your city has a name, a job, a schedule, a place to live, sometimes single, but sometimes in relationships, and they act like people. Okay, maybe that's giving the game a little too much credit. They act like robotic people. In just a few hours, you'll have interacted with enough NPCs to get that they are pretty much all the same. Even breaking into their computers will, more often than not, have the exact same copy and paste emails as the last dozen you looked at. Dialogue they give is almost always identical to the last NPC you talk to, and even their faces will blend together half the time. But you know what? I kind of don't care. It would be one thing if the game was trying to make its city feel alive and its denizens feel real, but it isn't. And I love the atmosphere and the general vibes this game puts out. But Shadows of Doubt is all about the gameplay. This isn't like other detective games that hold your hand through everything, and the story remains pretty much unchanged no matter what conclusions you make. Oh no, you do everything. You can pin anything and everything to your evidence board as clues, create your own links between pieces of evidence, write your own notes, chase down leads based on what you find, and in general solve cases how you see fit. It's all on you. So far, the only cases I've seen are murder cases and theft, and the only jobs I've seen are public humiliation, vandalism, help bring down a dangerous felon, and take a picture of somebody. I'm not sure if I'm helping someone stalk somebody else with that last one, but it pays, so I do it. No questions asked. Now, I'm not saying that's all there is. I've only put 11 or so hours into the game, so it's totally possible there are more that I haven't found. And even if there isn't, the developers have already stated more things will be added. So far, the public humiliation, taking pictures, and vandalism jobs are the easiest and pay pretty well. They also improve your social credit and don't require too much sleuthing. Call the number on the job listing to get the details, then find the person who called at the given location, or run to a phone booth to get details there. Afterwards, either the person you met will give you a briefcase with info, or you have to find it lying around near the phone booth you went to. Even though the briefcase doesn't contain a lot to go on, it's pretty easy to track down anything you need to complete the job. Don't even have to pan a lot to your evidence board. I think I had the most fun with the vandalism jobs. The theft cases are fairly simple. contact the victim and go to their apartment to look for clues. In this case, the victim knows it was someone they know, so I just went through their address book and broke into everybody's place until I found the stolen item. Easy enough. In fact, most of the jobs I've taken have been pretty easy. The public humiliation job was just me finding where the person worked, throwing a donut in their face, and then taking a picture to prove I did it. And all of that allowed me to afford an apartment. I didn't have too much money left over, but I did have enough to get this sick wallpaper. Oh yeah, this place is really coming together. But the murder cases? That's where the magic's at. There's a default murder case called The Dead of Night that introduces you to the game and its mechanics. I've heard a couple people recommend skipping it and going straight into sandbox mode, but I say, nah, go ahead and play it. You can turn off the hints, so once the initial tutorial is over, the game won't help you solve the case. Doing that made it feel really satisfying to solve the case, despite it being the same for every player. The case I'm currently working on has actually been a little tough. In my sandbox save, Detective Antonio Smirnov gets notified that a murder has taken place. So we head to the location, and conveniently, the key is under the doormat. While the camera is facing a different direction and the guard is moving, we slip in unnoticed and start collecting clues. After chasing down every lead I could think of, I'm still no closer to solving the case than I was before. I have the murder weapon at the scene, the fingerprint on said weapon that doesn't match the victim or the victim's partner, work rotations, address books, went through the fingerprints of everyone who lives in the building, checked the victim's workplace for matching prints, checked the security camera footage right outside of the victim's door, took pictures of a message written on blood on the wall, and have hit nothing but dead ends. I mean, look at this. That's what makes this game so fun. I'm figuring it out on my own and chasing down the leads I've created. Look at me go, solving the crimes. It's honestly refreshing and so much fun. Oh yeah, I almost forgot to mention the various status effects. Most of them are negative, but there are some positive ones. The ones I've become most familiar with are hunger, thirsty, bleeding, wet, cold, and focused. To be honest, I haven't seen these affect anything too much. Shadows of Doubt is a great game, and one of the best detective games I've played, but it isn't perfect. There are a few problems we should probably talk about before you rush out to go buy this game. Before I get started, please remember that Shadows of Doubt is still in early access and is actively being developed. It is totally possible that some of these issues will be fixed before this video even comes out. So I'm having a lot of fun with this game, and solving the crimes has been great. But there kind of isn't a lot to do? I'm still having a good time and all, but the jobs are starting to blend together. With my only murder case being a dead end right now, all I'm doing is odd jobs to keep the money rolling in and keep my social credit rising. After doing just a few of the jobs, they are starting to get repetitive. I don't mind the NPCs having pretty much the same dialogue all the time, but breaking into computers and having copy-paste emails is pretty disappointing. At the moment, there's no reason to break into anyone's computer, unless it's like an employer so you could get all of the co-workers' fingerprints. But personal computers? There's no reason to waste your time. The NPC AI is a little buggy as well, and you can take full advantage of this. For example, let's say you were checking the neighbors for fingerprints. You could just ask them for the fingerprints, or you can knock on their door, stare at them, wait for them to close the door, open it right away, and then scan for prints. I haven't encountered too many glitches. I've had weird audio bugs where the sound effects will repeat and then layer on top of each other. That's happened a lot actually. There's been a few times where objects have melted into each other, like here where the medicine cabinet from the bathroom fused with this store's display shelf. Here, you can see me glitching through the floor, but this has only happened once during the entire time I've been playing. I also had this weird bug where a citizen agrees to take my money to search their place, but they won't take the money, and when I try to walk into the apartment, they just become hostile, even though they agreed to let me in. The game just won't give me a guest pass for some reason. As far as glitches or bugs go, I haven't had anything game-breaking or that really affected my overall experience. The only issue I have gameplay-wise is passing time. Sitting on a bench, stool, or getting into bed will allow you to set an alarm and time will start to pass quickly. Just not quick enough? It's too slow for my taste. It just feels like it takes forever. I do like how I'm watching everything fast forward around me, just wish it was a little bit faster. That might just be me. I'm not a very patient person, to be honest. As much fun as I have been having with Shadows of Doubt, it is getting a little repetitive. Tracking down serial killers and customizing your apartment is a pretty fun time. Everything else is kinda meh after the first couple times you do it. And right now, even with the murder cases, there are only a few ways to solve the case. To avoid ruining the fun, I won't say what those ways are, but you'll quickly figure it out. Shadows of Doubt is, at the moment, a really fun and enjoyable game. It just feels like I'm running out of stuff to do. The jobs are starting to feel like it's the same thing over and over. Working on murder cases is still really fun though, I can't stress that enough. I know these are temporary complaints, since the developers are actively patching the game and have stated they are planning on adding more stuff. You can also report bugs or glitches to help them narrow down problems and get them fixed. So everything negative I said will at some point be fixed or more content will be added. These are just the issues the game has at the moment. The good absolutely outweighs the bad, no doubt about that. The Shadows of Doubt that we are playing right now is just, in many ways, a foundation, and it's a pretty fucking solid foundation at that. I honestly don't think I've played a more satisfying detective game ever. Solving murder cases leaves me feeling like I've accomplished something, and it's just so much fun that any negative things I have to say are so far in the back of my mind that it's hard to care about them. The fun you're going to have is worth one or two glitches, or the lack of variety when it comes to cases or jobs. You'll be wanting that money to customize your apartment and make it look all cool and awesome, just like mine. Hell yeah. Somehow, even though everything is procedurally generated, the city still feels unique without feeling random. This game is absolutely worth the $20 you'll spend. Early access or not, totally worth the money. You will have a good time, and I cannot stress enough how much fun you'll have if you like detective stuff. I would take breaks from making this video just to play it some more because I was having a great time tracking down this serial killer. I don't talk about new games often, and this video was completely unplanned. I've just been having so much fun with it, I just had to talk about it. Shadows of Doubt is already a really good game. I honestly can't wait to see what the developers are going to add or do to elevate it from really good game to an amazing game. But no matter what, Shadows of Doubt is really, really fun, and you should absolutely check it out. I'm trying. Would you stop shutting off the light, you dick? I'm trying to see. Stop it. Don't do it again. I swear to God. Stop. Stop. Stop shutting off the light. What is wrong with you? I'm trying to solve the crime. You hired me to solve a crime.